woman and child, my sister, my mother. From Afar to Amara and Lohiwe to Ashanti, Mandinka to Yoruba, Samburu, Fulani, Bakongo, Bambara, Bemba to Amara, Bobo to the Bushman and San Chiwa to Dogon. African woman, yeah. Love the strength of an African woman. My teacher, my doctor, my friend. The strength of an African woman. I love them so. The strength of an African woman. Yeah. Woman of fun, woman of fun, woman of Ibis, Gikuyu, Dogon, Maasai, Mandinka, to the Zulu, Pygmy, Samburu, and Senufo, ladies of Tuareg, Wolof, Yoruba, I love you. Strength of an African woman. The strength of an African woman. My teacher, my doctor, my friend. The strength of an African woman. I love them, I love them, I love them so. The strength of an African woman. Soft like a flower, strong like a tower, soft as a zephyr, but full of power. A lady, a soldier, but gentle when you hold her. With endurance locked inside her, she will struggle, but she's a survivor. My Zulu warrior lady, I love you. The strength of an African woman. My teacher, my doctor, my friend. The strength of an African woman. My teacher, my lover. The strength of an African woman. Yeah. Love the strength of an African woman. From Afar to Amara and Lohiwe to Ashanti, Mandinka to
Welcome to the Americas. Most of the American population today are descendants from those who arrived in the ships of yesteryear, while our ancestors' accommodations were much different. The beginning of the tragic Mafa event started after the barbarous European invaders decimated the native population of America, in which then they preceded their lecherous reign of terror by importing Africans to the Americas. Many years later, they still have not let go of their hold on the Americas. History has been written and told to the populace of America, withholding the great, strong, black stories that depict the integrity and righteousness of the virtuous African nations. One such story is of the Maroons. Against all odds, traveling in unhospitable conditions, a group arrived, nationalistic and proud, freedom-loving individuals. These are the Maroons. Maroons are a group who rejected oppression against all odds in order to keep a community that rejected the exploiters' counterproductive value systems. Maroons literally meaning living on mountaintop, in which they did. In the case of Maroons from Jamaica, the European invaders are typically seen as uncivilized, uneducated, brutal men with little understanding of any concept other than profit. Although they have situated themselves in the region of Jamaica, they have no understanding of the terrain at all. This was an advantage that the Africans and the remaining indigenous people of Jamaica had. The lush jungles of Jamaica were very similar to the beautiful primeval forests of Africa. All a slave would have to do is run away to the tops of the hills in the dense forest in order to avoid the churlish European squatter. In order for the Maroons to place fear into the European brutes, they encroached onto plantations and terroristic invader settlements. During the Maroons' encroachment into the combatants' self-proclaimed land, they spread the message of freedom, independence, and deliverance, which led many slaves to join the movement as well. All this action of freedom threatened the European plantation owners' bottom line, leading to an eventually withdrawal from fighting with the Maroons and a treaty in 1738. This treaty was noteworthy for the equitable treatment given to both parties, which is greatly unusual for the generally self-seeking European settlers. The treaty allowed them to have a separate land that was fertile, in order to live separate from the voracious invaders. In this land, African and cultural influences predominated. The language spoken is a mix of African dialects, Spanish, and English. The music made within these reputable circles were made in the same manner as they were in Africa, such as the Central African lute and the 8-stringed harp. The dancing style was also very similar, the religion also being greatly influenced by Akan, with a prevalence of Obi, which is now referred as Obiah. According to Edward Dudbourg, marriages among the Maroons had no religious or judicial ceremonies. The consent of the woman to live with the man was sufficient. Funeral procedures were simple among them. They would place the dead in a wooden coffin and sing prior to the burial.